How are you? Uh, Welcome to Note of Nuance. My name is Ren, and we're gonna be playing a real old MMO. It's my first MMO, the first one I ever played. It has a special place in my heart. I have talked about it on here before. I don't know. You probably haven't seen that because I don't remember when I talked about it, and there probably wasn't many people there watching it. But I have talked about this MMO before. It's called Dark Ages. It's by a company called Nexon. I believe it's Korean. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I don't. This is just a show. This is gonna be a short one because it's just. I think it's gonna be a short one because it's just me. It's just gonna be me talking about this game. So it's. I'm trying to remember. Has it got the year 2002? Okay, 2002. So that would have been my sophomore year of high school, and this is I spent a lot of my time playing this game. Nexon actually had two MMOs at the time. One I think came out a little before that. It was called Nexus, something or other of the Winds, and it had an ancient Korean setting. I don't know how specific that was, but that was the concept, and it had that kind of mythos, and you. I didn't play it, so I can't tell you a lot about that one. And then they also had this one, which was more of a Celtic mythos, which was a little more to my fantasy sensibilities. I don't usually get into the more I don't know, Asian style mythologies, whether you're talking about Korean, Japanese, Chinese, like they're okay, but it's not like I don't fantasize about being in that world. I like knights. I like a more medieval fantasy. Anyways, it's just more in tune with what I personally enjoy. But I had many of friends who played the other one, and apparently they liked it a lot. But this one is Celtic. I think we're just gonna get started, and I'm gonna keep talking about it as I go. It is very different than it once was. Now, my original character's name was Lotak. He was a rogue. I don't know if we'll be able to use that name again, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try and recreate the first character. They never used to show these different outfits when you started this up. What kind of? We want dark hair? Yeah, we're gonna be a rogue. We should have some dark hair, right? We could have the chrono. We could have the chrono hair, I guess. We could have kind of this emo hair, and that looks kind of good. But what is this outfit? It's got like a pink chest piece and like a garter. I kind of like this messy hair is pretty good, or the Goku hair is kind of good, right? Super Saiyan. All right, so we cycled through. We're just gonna make a choice. Probably just go with the messy hair. This might have been our original hair. Sup, One World? How you doing, my friend? Yeah, let's go with this. All right. All right. I'm doing okay. We're revisiting my very first MMO, and we're recreating the character as he was once named, because it's been many years since that name was purged from their database. So we're being low tack, one of my early online handles. This game has such a near and dear place in my heart. I'm sure it's very different now. I know that it's very different now because I have checked it out before. Right now, we are not clothed. Okay. Let me remember how to do any of this. Welcome to Dark Ages online role playing. Oh, we need to update the game because there was that specific name. Let's fix our game name so people don't get confused. This tutorial will give you the facts and skills you need to begin. You will gain 5,000 experience points, a dirk, and 1,000 coins. The first thing you should do in this tutorial is talk to all the merchants. There are 5 of them. When you're ready to leave, you can leave the tutorial by continuing to the end of this path. To move, right-click the mouse to the position of where you want to move. In tight spots, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to walk around. Talk to the knight next to the tree by double-clicking him. If you get lost, press tab. You should have a piece of clothing in your inventory. Press the A key to access your inventory. Double-click on the piece of clothing to wear it. You may skip this tutorial by going up this path and turn right at the next path. Great. So if we hit A, we got some clothes, we got a ragged shirt, we got some boots. We're looking good already. We're looking good already. We already did that. We already had that conversation game. We're gonna go talk to the knight. Sup, buddy? Ragnall. Ragnall says hello. I'm gonna teach you about combat. Hey, thanks, Ragnall. You got a real stern face. I feel like the close-up pictures are new. I don't remember them having art like this. I feel like I only ever had these like lower conversation boxes back in 2002 when I used to play this game. It's been a minute. First, be aware that combat is dangerous. Make friends about your same level and adventure in a group. If you die, most of your magic items will be destroyed. You will lose a percentage of your experience points, and you will gain a legendary Scar of Sigrios. 2002 is both when I started and when it came out. A legend mark from the God of Destruction. The current skill that you have is called the Assail skill. It is a basic attack. Throughout the game, you will learn more variety of skills that perform different actions. To use skills, just double-click their icon. To attack a creature, face the creature and press the spacebar. It is recommended that you use the keyboard arrow keys to move during combat. Be careful what you attack. Never attack mundanes, like me. You cannot harm other Aeslings, and they cannot harm you. So here's some things that this game still. So way back when, there used to be a disclaimer. We haven't hit it yet, but there used to be a disclaimer about both this game and kind of its sister game Nexus that said that you should always speak in character. So and it can be it's punishable by the community. And and so they had names for things that are usually like shorthanded in games to make it so you're not talking so game speaky. So for example, player characters were Aeslings and NPCs were mundanes. So Ragnall here is a mundane, which just is their word for NPC in this case. They've obviously done away with that because in this tutorial they're talking about pressing buttons and keys and stuff, and I don't remember them doing that before. It went so far that it would translate shorthand into full words. So like if you typed in LOL and hit enter, your character said amusing instead. Like they didn't even want the shorthand jargon of the internet in the game. If you were going to talk out of character, you were supposed to do so in double parentheses, so at least people were like aware that you were talking out of character. So you'd be like in game, you're like, I'm getting tired, and then you'd be like, anyways, I gotta log off. See ya tomorrow. But like you couldn't just say anyways I gotta log off and not anything, because if a guard saw you do it, you could get punished by, and the game didn't punish you, other players punished you. So this was still back in the era of online games before it had decided who was gonna win, the pure like min-maxing, just playing a game people, or the people who were interested in role playing. In the early era of MMOs, it was very heavy role playing. In most MMOs that I looked at, these ones were some of the strongest. But it obviously over time it transitioned and became a little more casual on the RP side, and maybe less casual as far as like combat or min-maxing. But it man, I miss it. There are times when I still miss it. Anyways, you'll see some words in these things that harken back to that concept that it's talking about. To help you see creatures, press tab, and the creatures will appear as red on the overhead map. Initially, several creatures will be too great for you. Ask a friend which areas are safe to venture into at first. And this was another thing, is it didn't really tell you where you should and shouldn't be. It was completely community driven, all the knowledge. So you could just wander somewhere that was too strong for you and just die immediately, and you would have no real inkling, because sometimes they were adjacent to just walkways. So like you could be traveling from town to town and like there's a cave on the way, and there's no violence in this path. It's just a normal path to a city. There's no monsters to fight, but you see a cave. You go in the cave and the monsters are too strong for you and you die. Here's a stick. If you don't already have one, it's not much, but it's better than nothing. Make sure to equip it. There are some small creatures here you can practice on. When you're ready, walk up the path and you should see an old man. Double click on him to learn more. Yeah. We got a stick. Let's equip our stick, and let's go face off one against these little pygmy guys. Yeah, those realistic whip noises, you know. You can also set it to like auto attack essentially, which I'm not. So I just controlled, and I think I had to double right click, but now the character is persistently dealing with this pygmy creature on his own. I don't remember it doing that before, so that might be new. Anyways, we have defeated a couple pygmies. I think we were really learning the ways of the world. Let's get back to the path. Oh, here's the map mechanic I was talking about. You can see the red dots are enemies. We got an old man over here. He looks very dapper in his green tunic. Bartley, why don't you tell me about the interface? You should now see your inventory. To view your inventory, press the A key, yeah, or we can click the first button underneath the color changing jewel, which I believe is he's referring to this bad boy. You should now have an apple in your inventory. You can pick up items off the ground by double clicking on them. If you're standing on the item, then press shift and double click the item, because otherwise you're clicking on your own character. To drop an item, drag the item from your inventory and release it on the ground near your character. You can eat the apple by double clicking the apple. Here's 2 loaves of bread in case you get hungry later. I just gave you a stick as well. Thanks, old man. I already had a stick. To equip the stick, double click the stick in your inventory. To unequip an item, click on your character and double click the item. Now I'm going to teach you about skills, spells, conversation, and more. Everything a strapping young lad like yourself should learn from an old man like me. To view your skills, click on the button beneath the inventory button. You can also press the S key. To use a skill, double click the skill icon. For now, you only have one skill, a sail. You can also use your skills by pressing 1 through 9, 0, dash, and equal keys. If the skill is in the first slot of your book, then press 1 to use it. To learn about combat, talk to the knight next to the tree if you haven't done so already. You're a good student. Now let me give you the look skill. This allows you to identify where you are and see any items or items on a person that is standing in front of you. Here is a view of your spells. The button to view your spells is beneath the skills button. You can also press the D key. Using your spells is the same as using your skills. The only difference is if you want to cast a spell on someone, just click on the spell and then click on the person or creature. Here is the spell Nis, meaning now in the old tongue. When you double click on it, you will see the current time in Temuer. Temuer? I've never known how to pronounce that word. When you double click on it, you see the current time, the world, and Dark Ages. Spells do not work in some areas, such as shops and in the town of Millith. To learn more about spells, talk to the wizard to my right. But here is your conversation view. You can see spoken messages, whispers, group messages, guild whispers, all the whispers. To speak out loud, press enter. Type your message and enter again. To send a private message, press shift and the quote button. Type in the recipient's name and press enter. You can test this feature by saying, "Hello, Bartley," in front of me, and I will surely respond. To learn about these commands in detail, click the question mark at the bottom of the right, or F1. You can also view the manual from darkages.com. And here's a view of your status. Here's what STREINT means. Alright, we're learning all about games. You can drag messages. You can see the far right, several boxes. Yeah, these are like buffs and shit. Tiny white bar shows how long it's gonna last. Yeah. Alright, we've learned all the stuff, but let's say hello to Bartley. Hello, Bartley. I forgot how to spell your name, Bartley. Is it L-E-Y? Well, hello, Lotak. Also, there were those kinds of commands. I think they did that in EverQuest too, right? Where you just could type to people. Alright. There's a wizard somewhere around here, but I'm supposed to talk to everybody to get my sweet tutorial stuff. Yeah, no, let's go in the door. I don't know. We'll find out. Gerard? What's up, Gerard? You're a gardener? Very passionate about your garden. Hasn't been doing so well. Since the beginning of spring, swarms of floppies have snuck into my garden, devouring everything. What are floppies, you ask? I'm gonna guess they're some kind of bunny. They are bunny-like creatures with the appetite of a horse. They frequently roam around the northern forest. I'm not much of a fighter, so I can't kill them. But if only there was... Hey, how about you? You look pretty strong. Would you like to help me kill some floppies? I'll pay you. Yeah, alright. Great. Go kill one female floppy, which is brown, and one male floppy, which is white, and come back here so I can pay you. Alright, I don't know why we needed to bring the floppies' genders into this, but I will go deal with these menacing rabbits. These appear not to be floppies. Where are floppies? He didn't give me like a direction, did he? Oh, a little bit of lag. It's fine. Never killed nobody except for that time it killed everybody. None of you are floppies. I need floppies. Maybe it's in the next map? Is this a whole different building? No, not me. The sign. The sign, you idiot. Magic shop. Come on in, I'll teach you a spell. If the door's closed, double click on it. Okay. That's a great question. I don't think so. Unless they added a quest log. This wasn't the kind of game that had quest logs. This wasn't even the kind of game that really had like official quests. It's more in the vein of, hey, it sure would be nice if someone did a thing. I would really reward someone who did it. You know what I'm saying? If someone did that thing, it sure would be good for them. I think those things were pygmies, by the way. Miles? Well, hello, new one. I take it you're here to learn about spells. Yeah, there are some basic things you have to learn about casting spells. Some spells will automatically cast on yourself, some you must target another player, some you must target an enemy creature, and some will automatically cast on everyone in your sight. To practice casting spells, I gave you a simple attack spell called Shrad Tut. It's not very powerful, just good for practice. Press D to access your spell page. This spell is only for this tutorial. To use it, double-click on the spell icon, then move your mouse cursor over the target creature. Once the creature is highlighted in blue, click the left mouse button, and you go on casting. Just let you know, some spells take longer to cast. Right-click on the spell icon, see how many lines it has. Each line represents 1 second. Go ahead and practice. Small forest, you can practice on floppies. They're bunny-like creatures. Hey, what a coincidence. I have a quest to kill bunnies. Alright, so, die, floppy. So the way spells work in this is that the time it takes to cast is each one of those lines that it showed, and they appear over your character's head when you do said thing. All right, so now we got some floppies. Die, floppy. Die, floppy. See how that works? All right, we done got a brown one. Now we just need to get one of these white ones. Is he somehow out of range? Or did... Yeah. And you can find, if you go the mage route, you can get like stabs will change how many line spells take to cast. No. Not me. The bunny thing. All right. We done murdered a couple flops. It still seems like this place is lousy with them, so I don't know how big of a detriment we did to the ecology of the situation, you know? Yeah, I know it's closed. I was trying to open it. I wasn't trying to examine it. Hey, Gerard. I murdered them cuddly bunny flops you wanted. Yeah, we're very wealthy now. We've got our blood money. We've talked to the old man, the wizard, and Gerard, the young boy gardener. I believe the game said there was 5 people to talk to, though. There we go. All right, you guys are real inconvenient. This is a blacksmith. Guys, I need to get in this door. Get out of the way. Fine. I'll beat you out of the way. Listen, I'm not afraid to fight beaver pygmy creatures. Don't even front. I'll murder every one of you cuddly bastards. T-Lore. Hello, what can I do for you? Well, he's got stuff for sale, but I don't think we're gonna use that. I think we're gonna follow in our old footsteps. I think we're gonna be a rogue for this endeavor. But now you could get different things. We're gonna get a dirk for free, so I don't need to do that. There's 2 pages of this. Lorez saber. We got a clay ham. Gold coins. If you need to buy things, talk to the gardener. Okay, you didn't really have anything to teach me, blacksmith. I could have just bought things from you, but I could buy those from the regular game. Alright, I think we're sufficiently tutorialized. We've learned many things about this world. You are about to leave the tutorial. Here's a hint when starting. Speak with all the mundanes, merchants, in Millith, the starting town. Remember, this is an online world. You set your own goals and missions for your character. If at any time you forget what we taught you, click on the question mark or press F1 for help. You can also download the manual at darkages.com. Also, here's a dirk and some money. Yeah, let's get out of here. Also, levels are called insights. It's another thing about what done happen. So we awake in this bedroom, and then we get shocked with lightning. You rub your eyes. That was some dream. It feels good to wake up in the fresh straw bed of Millith. You remember the dull yesterday that is every day, working till your eyes were sore, tired and heartless, but you feel refreshed, and suddenly you realize something is very different now. A light swirls around you. So, the dialogue is meant to indicate that your character was a mundane and now has sparked into an aisling now that he's being controlled by a player. We get some free stuff. We get a tutorial book. All right, let's switch to our dirk. Man, now we're all stabby. Ain't no one gonna mess with us. Hello, pretty barmaid. Riona, how are you? Did I just go through a mundane birth? You recall, that is good, but we won't want you to call it cannot be altered. If I realize the memories are false. No, we don't want to do that. This is like, that's to reset your character. Riona's greeting. Oh, hello there. I've been fairer before, but I don't believe I've seen you before. Did you sleep in one of the inn rooms last night? I don't remember, but you have a light in your eyes. I don't remember the last time I left Millith. Once or twice I've been out of these gates to gather daisies, but I dare not anymore. I've lost the will and courage, and especially the imagination. Sometimes I'd like to shake this inn off and just wander the aisles and wonder of it all. I'm sorry to babble, but I am a mundane, like the blacksmith Torrance. who is just across the statue to the old gods of Timware and Dathi, just north of me. Kellogg, far south of the statue, and even Dar, the dark wizard that I see across the brook, is a mundane. You, though, you look like you've become more. I hope you fare well. This mundane hopes you live to see another moon. These are dark ages we live in, and I fear more of my beds will remain empty from lodgers will never return. I'm sorry, what's a mundane? Mundanes are stricken to the worst suffering, toil of the earth without a taste of the power of light. We slave the earth and never have the power to alter our course. We are destined to remain here, and all that we can know is different is done by those who have a glimmer of hope in their eyes. We have no imagination, but you do, fair Aisling. Perrin, how are you, my friend? Welcome in. We're taking a real hard turn down my nostalgia lane with this one today. Thank you for your kind words, Riona. You're a real sweetheart. You do have a light in your eyes. Should ever you think about it, you might want to... I shouldn't wish such things. I just grow grayer in this mirror. It worries me. You look fine, girl. Only to have your vision. Have a fair day. Alright. No, I really want to know. She's an innkeeper. Perrin. She's keeping this inn. Find a fellow Aisling, one with an imagination like you have. Learn from that Aisling about a craft you may want. I don't know myself. Don't let Devlin, the fairy magician, know I said anything about this. There's a road just outside this inn. Follow it down and over. Follow it further down to a second bridge. Just beyond is a temple. It's older than the laying of the rocks of the riverbed. Monstrous form looms the edge. Deep within lies the circles of loathsome secrets. From it you may meet masters of the crafts. Before you go, find a member of the craft you have chosen. For example, if you're interested in being a warrior, find an Aisling warrior. Great. What's this training quest, though? A new Aisling like you should go train with Vorloff. To get to Vorloff, walk out of this inn and follow the path right behind the statue. Continue down the path until you come to a river. The training house is right next to the river. Open the door and walk in. I'm not sure what situation you're referring to, but I'm doing okay at the moment. I made the foolhardy decision to drink at a friend's birthday get-together, so I had one hell of a headache last night, but took some pills, laid down, got better. Then click on the... Oh, there is an event tab. Okay. I think the event tab is new, though. I don't... Event. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember this ever. Yeah, this thing is new. Look at that. Apparently we can look up quests now. All right. So it used to be more old school than this. Although I guess it doesn't tell you much, does it? Oh, I forgot that you could do a family tree. They added this while I was playing it. What the hell? Diach 151. Okay. Diach are in-game years. Alright. Yeah, this didn't look like this before. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, so this game used to require that if I wanted to become a thing, I had to find someone who was already that class. So a gladiator is, I believe, a fighter. Oh, look at how edgy he is, too. We are but wayward leaves scattered to the wind, bound by different wind. The scythe and everything. So what you would have to do is, if I wanted to be a fighter, I might go, hey, unspoken wind, man, I really want to be a fighter. Would you be my mentor? And then they would take you out of this inn and they'd lead you down to that temple she was talking about. So you'd wander. Otherwise, you're just a peasant. Like, I have no class right now. I'm just a peasant with a stick. Oh, dang, we got a guy coming out of the streetlight. Greetings there, adventurous aisling. You looking for an adventure? In fact, you might even fail. You'll find yourself in quite an interesting prize. Yeah, alright. I'll do it. Oh, my chrysalis is too fragile to go on this quest? Fine. Why'd you bother talking to me? Don't even worry about it. I don't know how much. I didn't pay or register this account at all, so I don't know how much it'll let me do without. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I wanted to do a little show and tell of my first MMO. I think they still charge $10 a month to play this game too. This is insane to me. It also has it has like a cosmetic market, which is not a thing that it had way back when. Alright, so you'd find your mentor, who is a player character or another aisling, and they'd take you here to the Temple of Choosing. And then you'd like... What? Tavern Inn filled with fight... Yeah. Good sir, greatly, Dubhaim... Should be a journey. Do you want to do? Yeah. Now. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It forced cooperation. So the game didn't. So the journal thing is new, right? Like, you didn't have a thing that told you what to do or how to do it. Really, you had some people who gave you directions, but everything else that you learned was all player driven. So you would come to this temple with a player, and you'd have to know the right path to get to the choice that you want. You are one who will overcome wrath of nature. If this is the path you wish, go to the left door. Beauty, you search for beauty and truth and command nature. If this is the path you wish, go to the right door. So you end up traveling. You shudder in realization of what may be below. Now, I don't remember any of the paths. Over at the left door, you will be born a monk. You will save people. Without a sword, you will be strong. If you want to be a rogue, go right. Hey, I kind of remembered. Alright. Oh, they changed the rogue guy. What's up, rogue guy? So, when you had a player, you would, hello, I'm the servant of the rogue. The rogue enters everything and be traps. Leave here, lest horror will find you. I don't know if it'll let me do it without registering or if I needed a player again. I know that I fired this up in the last 6 years-ish, and I didn't need a player to become a class, but I don't think I did. Yeah, I'm still a peasant. I think I have to register if I want to do it. But basically, you'd go to that guy. He used to look different, and you'd have your player sponsor there, and then you would start talking to that guy, and you would type in the name of your sponsor, and then they would agree to be your mentor. And then, you know, it would show up. I thought it showed up on your character sheet, but maybe it doesn't anymore. Anyways, you would have a mentor, and they were supposed to just like teach you how to play the game. And it was pretty cool. Yes, community was crazy important in this game. And then there's also in this game politics and religion, which is a little odd. Oh, they changed this. This didn't used to look like this. Did they redo temples? Your armaments are repelled from here, so I can't. I can't bring weapons into this temple. I also don't think I can go into it without registering, unless they change that. Yeah. Register first. So this is a church to like an Aphrodite-style god, and you can join churches. They have many gods. There's a god of fortune, like a god of magic and law, a god of war and all that kind of nonsense. You can join it, and you can pray for different things. So I usually joined the god of fortune because I was a rogue, and you could just straight up pray for money. But you had a hidden faith kind of counter. So if you prayed and just and was just praising that particular god, like the god of wealth, you built this hidden faith meter, and then after some time, if you prayed for something like tangible, you would get the best reward, but it would start reducing that hidden faith modifier. So you kind of would work out how often you could ask for something versus not ask for something. So any player could join, but you had to be let in by a priest of that church, which was also a player character. So if you became a cleric in this game, you could ascend the ranks of a church to the priest, and you could initiate new people into the church. You could also cast a sermon spell, kind of like guilds, but they also had guilds. And only cleric classes could ascend in the ranks. So you could cast a sermon spell, and when you cast that spell, everyone who was in the room got a little pop-up and would earn experience. And then you could also send people on a religious quest, or a geis, and grant people experience too. You could only do it so often a day or whatever. But it was very interesting, this secondary mechanic, and people were into it. Like, you learned. Oh, look at, I'm getting so sleepy. People learned the hierarchy and tenets of these fake gods in this game. And if you wanted to join the church, you had to convince an actual player character priest that you really wanted to join that church. And so they would usually quiz you about things like, who are the ally gods of this god? Who are the enemy gods? What kind of attributes do they look for, or do they have control over? They'd honestly give you a quiz before they would let you in. Also, before people cast the sermon spell to give everyone in the room experience, they usually actually gave a little sermon based on that fake god religion. people were into it. It was crazy. So there were a couple of other interesting mechanics that this game had that I really liked. So in addition to these player-ran churches that that people got into and protected, generally speaking, and also priests could kick someone out of the church. So if you went in there, all big dick swinging, talking out of character or shitting on the god or whatever, they would just ban you from the church and you wouldn't be able to enter it. But people took it seriously. It's crazy. They also had elected officials for the different towns. So, like right now, my character is a citizen of Millith, which is this town that I'm in, this starting town. And you had different elected officials. The one that was most common was just city guard. And you had to collect a certain number of signatures to be able to become a city guard. And you got a city guard armor, and then you also got a skill that let you push people one space. So like, because sometimes people would like block ways because bodies have weight. You can't just walk through people like they're trolling. So the guards could actually just push people out of the way if they needed to. They could also ban people from cities if they were talking out of character or being disrespectful or whatever, just being a jerk. You would get banned from a town, and you wouldn't be able to enter it unless you got another guard to like sponsor your return. So if you were out in the big city, I don't think I can leave this town without registering. Oh, I can. All right. So if you were out somewhere else, hey, look at this crowd of people. There's a whole like 10 people here. What the heck? So if you were out somewhere here and you tried to return, it wouldn't let you pass this screen. You see how it says specifically a guard admits you into Millith territory? If you were kicked out of the town, you would just be stuck in that screen. You'd have to leave again. You couldn't actually enter the town. And then the way you did things like vote for someone or prayed or any of these things, there was a labor mechanic, which I think is a hidden mechanic. I don't think you actually have a counter for it. But I believe one real day is 7 days in game. So every real day you had 7 days of labor to do different things like that. So I could pray 7 times a day. So I could pray 6 to increase my faith and then once to like get the money or whatever, as an example. Or I could use one day to sponsor someone for guardship and things like that. And you could also transfer labor. There was a shop in town. I don't know if I remember, but basically there's somewhere you could go and then you could transfer your labor to a different character. Like if they were helping you out, you're like, yeah, I'll do it, but you gotta give me 1 day of labor to do it, because I'm not using my own labor. I've only got so much time in the week. And also, if you had friends that you trusted for your out of character shenanigans, you could also transfer labor from one of your other characters to a different one if you needed to do a bunch of stuff. Like you'd have someone who was empty already, and you'd log on one of your characters, give them all of the labor points, and then log back onto your main character, and then they would transfer all of the labor points into your main character so you could do more stuff. So there's a little bit of a transfer mechanic there. Like figuring out how to progress in different characters was fairly difficult as well. One, all your skills had kind of a different stat requirement to be able to progress, so you had to know how to build your stats in an optimal way to get all the skills you wanted. But then every now and again, there would be like a quest for your next set of armor or a specific weapon or a specific skill. But you really kind of had to have someone tell you how to do it and how to prompt for it. Otherwise, you just didn't progress. So the mentor was very important back then. I don't know how important they are. Yeah, it's entirely about it. So this is a little trough that you can offer up offerings to the gods, and different ones will do different things. Like what if we give it an apple? What does it do? You feel a touch of light, and I got 5 experience for doing it. So I offered an apple up to the gods. Different things do different things. There's like just like stuff like that that just happen in the game. Selling things was a little annoying because until you figured out that there were command words to get people to buy things, it was difficult. Like, what is it? I think it's buy my all bread, but he doesn't buy those. So if you wanted to sell like a stack of things, you had to actually say to the to the merchant to buy my all bread or baguette. I wonder if he'll, maybe if I did the right thing, buy my all baguette. He still doesn't buy it. That's fine. You could know by like trying to sell them things. So if it was in this list, you know that they buy them in general, so then you could then sell the rest of them. Also, sometimes they'll do kind of like the quest language. I think there's like a dark wizard over here who will buy like creature parts. And he might start off by giving you a quest for things. And by quest, I mean he just mentions that he'd like spider eyes or something. Dark things. I would like to get some things from my studies. Won't you bring it by? I may have what you need. You don't have bat's wings. So he wants bat wings right now. And the kinds of things that he asks for in his little quest thing are the same things that he'll buy. Later in the game, you have to know very specifically how to do different things. So there's obviously a class system. We talked about how there's a fighter and rogue, and they gave me a spell, like you could be a wizard. But once you hit level 99 in a class, you have some options. You can either become a master of that class, so become this master rogue or wizard or what have you, or you can restart as another class, but you keep all of the skills of your old class, but you don't have any of the stats. So all your stats reset, you go back to all 3s, but you have all the skills from your old class. Sometimes that means you don't have enough mana to cast it. You keep on the equipment you had at the moment that you transferred to the new class, but most equipment has like level requirements or stat requirements. So if you ever took it off, you wouldn't be able to equip it again. And I think there used to be an equipment like a burden too, but maybe that's not a thing anymore. So like there would be times where you like just couldn't carry anymore. I'm too low level to pick up that item. And hold on a sec. All right. I was talking about master. Okay, so if you master, there's like this big old long quest you have to do to become a master in the class. Is this spider gonna kill me? Let's find out. Nah, we got this spider. So you had to go collect a whole bunch of crap to master in a class, but it didn't actually tell you what you needed to do. It would just like tell you what the thing was. You're like, oh yeah, you need a dark crux, a dark bent crux. Go do that. And then so someone had to teach you how to master in your class. So you'd go do that hard thing that had you go to specific areas to do specific things, and then you'd become a master and you're that thing. Or you could, like I said, you could become reborn as another class but have your old skills, so you'd be kind of a hybrid. And then later they added additional tiers above that, where you could become a grandmaster. If you were a single class, you became a grandmaster of that class. And then if you were a whatcha-jigger, a half-breed, there was a whole like different class you became. So like if you were a half-breed rogue, I think you became an archer or a bard or something like that. I could be remembering that wrong because I never did that. I had stopped playing basically right about when they added that mechanic in. But yeah, this was this was my first MMO. I'm not gonna lie, I've been tempted to re-register just to see how much of it I can actually still do and remember. I might do more of these little MMO show and tells because I've tried out a lot of MMOs over the years. This just happens to be the first. It's very near and dear to my heart. What's shaking, Michael B? How you doing? I think what we might actually do today is play some more Blood Omen. But I had brought up this game a few times on, so I just want to take a little time, talk about it, show it off. It's not quite the same as it once was, because I'm pretty sure... I'm sure I will one world. Because I like Neverwinter Nights, and I like those kind of community-driven things. But, This is the one that made me want to find the next version of this, right? I wanted another MMO with better graphics that promoted the same sense of community, promoted the same sense of like you didn't have to role play, but you just had to like kind of leave the outside world behind, right? Like you didn't talk about TV shows, you talked about the stuff in the game. And it was a lot of it's very immersive, despite the fact that it's a 2D isometric view with Super Nintendo style graphics. You were in it. You were in the thick of it with this bad boy. Oh, we got wrecked, just wandering through with his Link hat. I'll think about whether or not I want to play this game again. I've been thinking about it, but mostly I wanted to. I mostly just wanted to revisit it, just because, God, I just remember it so fondly. But we should probably do something more, more interesting for today in general. So I'm gonna end this stream just so I can leave this MMO show and tell as its own thing. And then we'll start right back. I would take a brief, maybe 5 minutes, and then I'll probably fire up Blood Omen, and we'll play that for a little while today, because we got to get through it so we can play the other ones. I guess I could start Gothic 2 as well. I did get that working. We're going to finish Blood Omen, I think, before we start Gothic 2. But anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble about an old MMO that I really liked. And, until next time, which should be soon, if you're hanging out. If you're not, then whatever.